Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today's spawn on the South Corner map. Playing in red, we've got Crackety here, playing as the Chinese, and his opponent on the east playing in blue. We've got Yenny Cherry playing as the Mongols. Welcome everyone to Forts. That's the map for today, a relatively new map for Age of Empires 4, and I've got a bit of a confession, something to admit. I haven't actually casted that many games on this map before, so it's going to be a bit of a learning curve to me. Going to explore the map and see how this one pans out. Wait a minute. Is that new? You know the trade post here in the middle? Did it always have the smoke coming out of it? I could never remember seeing that before. Either way, nice attention to detail. I love the smoke there. I digress. Interesting matchup, the Mongols versus the Chinese. You know, one civilization obviously has a lot more aggression built into them naturally. That being the Mongols, and the Chinese a bit more defensive. And I think, you know, one thing to consider in mind between, say, the Chinese and the new variant civilization, the Jushi Legacy, is the Barbican of the Sun. I have to say, the Barbican of the Sun is such a great landmark because when you're trying to be greedy and booming away, what more would you want than a defensive structure to get you on your way and protect yourself, especially on a map like Forts where everything's a little bit more choke pointy and you can kind of just protect yourself up. In terms of where he wants to go, but I mean the gold is a nice back gold as well for the Chinese, so booming away could be an option. Now there is definitely a movement out onto the mid-map. You want to try and get the deer camps as well and the wood lines that are there because the wood is a bit sparse at the beginning. See, only 4 patches around the main town centre, and that kind of goes away pretty quickly, I gotta say. On the right side, the Mongols with the Uvu, nice and open. It's going to be an early pasture opening, which we haven't seen for quite some time, so no bothering with an outpost rush, and it's understandable, right? It's very hard to do damage with an outpost on this map with the Mongols. And trade is not really an issue as well. It's an interesting pick, actually, this civilization on this map. I don't really feel like this map is designed, or the Mongols are necessarily suited to this map, because trade is not really an option for them. Outpost rushing is not really an option for them, and those are 2 key elements to the Mongols' gameplay. Either way, they'll have some other options. We shall see what Yenny Cherry has in store for us up against the Chinese. Now, if you guys are watching on YouTube, welcome. I hope you guys have been enjoying the casted content recently. Definitely been enjoying making them, so thanks for tuning in. If you guys are watching on Twitch, welcome in. If you're thinking on YouTube what we're talking about, well, Twitch is a platform where you can live stream, and I've been streaming quite regularly for the last couple of weeks. So if that's something you want to see, I'll leave a link in the video description. I have actually been thinking about streaming live on YouTube as well. Haven't got around to setting it up just yet. I kind of want to wait for my Twitch partnership to come on in, if it can do. I'm applying and whatnot, because if I can do that, I can maybe stream in 1440. Because I know you guys on YouTube, you guys are, you know, a lot of you guys are used to seeing 4K content. Unfortunately, at Twitch at the moment, can't stream in 4K. Imperial Academy coming up for the Chinese. So that's going to be the first half of what's likely a Song Dynasty. I forgot the village account. I'm sorry, I did it again. It happens. I need to put. I think I need to put a post-it note on my monitor again because I keep forgetting. Either way, there's the first half of the Song Dynasty. Gonna get the. I wonder if he's gonna start training more Imperial officials. Something we're commonly seeing being done. Looks like potentially Crackety. It's not actually on stone just yet. It's going to go for the Song Dynasty first, and then, of course, most likely to go for a second town. So we're kind of jumping ahead of the gun, though. You never know. Could be up to something funky, although, you know, 4 villages going across. Maybe is he going to... Wait a minute. Where is he? How far is he going to go out with this? That's the question. He's setting 6 villages, which suggests he's going to be relatively aggressive with it, and crack it up to some shenanigans, maybe. You have to keep a close eye on this. How's it going, Pauline, around? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Well, welcome in. How's it going, Portuguese, by the way? And a question in chat, who's Yenny Cherry? That's a good question. I don't know if it's a Smurf account or if it's just another player. I'm not entirely sure. Not 100%. I'm going to have to get some research into that. It's going to go for the deer camp. Okay, it's not going to be too crazy with it. It's understandable. Be a decent amount of food coming in there soon. It's actually on the stone vein as well, which is nice to protect, of course. Later on in the game, that could become significant. Now, The gold veins are pretty significant. There's 8,000 tiles. Oh, wait, there's not 8,000 tiles. There's tiles of 8,000 gold in the middle, which the Barbican of the Sun actually it kind of stops the natural pathway to the Mongols to them. Especially this one. It's a really nice positioning, I've got to say. Like, strategically positioning that there is really nice, because what that forces is this primary gold vein for the Mongols, and that's it. Like, how does he venture on the map? This map is crazily skewed on the west side. A lot of gold veins. He might have to go straight to the north, which is very far to travel. And this Barbican of the Sun, sure, it gets the deer under control, gets the stone under control, but I think it does a lot more than that. And it really protects these 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 gold veins like behind it. I mean, you can just go around it, but it's definitely going to be helpful if he especially starts to wall up, maybe. That could be a bit cheeky, couldn't he? I mean, a couple of palisade walls here, it could wall him in. Because it's not a heavy wood investment. Either way, speaking of walls, Crackety going to place the walls a little bit more conservatively, as you'd expect, and understandably so. He started on that process already. There is that Song Dynasty in play, of course. Now, there has actually been a tendency for the Chinese to just play one TC Song Dynasty and be a bit aggressive. And it can be a play, because ultimately Song Dynasty still means you're going to get a villager lead eventually, right? You're going to scale that economy. It's going to be the Steppe Redoubt. You know, we don't see this landmark that often, but understandable choice on this map, right? Trade is not really an option, and so you know, gold is going to be hard to come by on this map. And I think, you know, the Steppe Redoubt, definitely a good choice on this one, because Steppe Redoubt will be increasing the amount of gold dropped off by 50%. Going to try and maximize the amount of gold being mined on in, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense, this one. Of course, it is foregoing the Kurultai, which is an incredibly strong landmark, a very nice landmark for the Mongols, but you know, sometimes trade-offs have to be made. I think ultimately the Kurultai is a supportive landmark to your military, and if you don't have gold, you won't have any military, so, you know, any armoured military at least. And now there is that castle age for the Mongols at a good 7 minutes. You could potentially look to get some relics. That could be a way to get some gold in. And it's doing just that. I'm going to get a prayer tent. Start getting those shamans out and get them on in, those relics. In the meantime, horsemen on the field. Soon for the Chinese to deny those relics being coming in. And horseman is a nice unit, of course. It's mostly for the mobility. Gotta get the movement speed on the map and try to get to those relics as quickly as possible. Getting out of the market, incidentally. Looking to balance that economy. I mean, I think generally it makes a lot of sense to balance the economy. Whether he wants to use too much of his gold, I'm not too sure, because obviously it's a bit of a scarce resource on this map. Khan just being annoying. The horsemen are going to chase him down, and the horsemen incidentally will actually eventually take him out. Just because of the increased movement speed. The Chinese now making their way up to the castle age, so he is just playing that one town centre Song Dynasty. Going to go up with the astronomical clock tower. Great landmark for siege, of course. It's going to be increasing the health by 50% of all the siege engines from that particular landmark. Oh, wait, I don't think the horseman survives, actually. He's not getting enough hits. Oof. Okay, well, Khan's a bit of a different beast. So I'll take back what I said. I stand corrected. Although there's another horseman on the chase now, so should be able to get it that time. Going to get some upgrades too with the blacksmith. Opening up with the barracks as well, just to protect the area. And maybe look to support the shaman to get onto the field. One relic in the grasp. I mean, this is a nice play by the Khan, though. He will end up losing the Khan, but what it's done is force the horseman to be away from the map as long as possible. As I say that, though, Crackety slowly starting to make his way there. Khan has been killed. In the meantime, though, the Mongols have been able to pick up one relic. Going to be adding in a second barracks instead. Actually, interesting choice. Maybe for some man-at-arms this time, or just to pump out more spearmen. Now, probably going to be a little bit more of a quiet time in the next 2-3 minutes or so. So I'd like to take this opportunity to say a very big thank you for everyone supporting the channel. Whether that be on Twitch or YouTube, you guys are absolute legends. It's a bit dramatic, isn't it? Sheesh. Either way, we do start to see some lancers on the field. Heavily armoured, of course, and going to be using the movement speed. Horseman actually died to the wolf. Would you believe? A wolf killed a horse. It's not something you see every day. Yeah, but a bit of a concern for the Mongols is actually going to start to run out of gold. It's going to have to try and venture out on the map at some point for that gold. Keeping an eye on the relic spots. Has got 2 relics though, so that'd be helpful for the Mongols for sure. Speaking of gold, China's going to be getting Imperial examinations, which will increase the maximum gold carried by an additional 40. That's good to hear, Pauline around. You discovered the YouTube channel. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, a good couple of build orders for most civilizations. A couple of civilizations I don't have, but the most of them I've got a couple of good build orders for them. Probably my favourite ones are probably the Ayyubids ones, and the Byzantine ones are quite fun. The standard ones from a long time ago, the English and French ones are some of my favourites too. Crackety though, starting to get 2 relics as well. So it looks like it's going to be a relatively even split as well, as even as they can get. 3 for one player, 2 for the other, 3 for the Mongols, 2 for the Chinese. Bear in mind, whilst it does feel like it's a bit quiet at the moment, as we know from Age of Empires 4, it's usually a quiet before the storm. Lancers going top of the gold vein. Now there's a decent number of spearmen. I think the Lancers might get 1 or 2 villager kills, but then won't be able to survive for too much longer. There we go. Oh, yeah, dead now. Got a bit of value though. Whether it was worth it or not, I'm not so sure. But it's definitely kept the spearmen at home. Oh, wait, you're going to pick him off? Now that is only a scout, so we need Lancers there quick time, but I don't think he has anything in the vicinity. It's unfortunate that Lancer died in the end for the Chinese. Could have been picking off that Shaman. The Shaman will return home, and he's going to be toggling onto stone afterwards. And they're just moving out to gold now. This is where things are a bit scary. If there are any Lancers in the field in that area, it could be precariously moving out. Yeah, and it is that North Gold Vein. That's just courtesy of the fact that Barbican of the Sun is so nicely positioned. Forcing him to make a long distance run. And no wheelbarrow either, by the way. That is really painful. These guys are super slow. That's with 14 villagers. It's a significant chunk of the economy. 2 trebuchets being made on the field. And this has all been forced with 1 Barbican in the Sun, right? This one structure. 400 food, 200 gold has got so much value in this game. 2 traction trebuchets will start to make work on this. Does have a couple of crossbows and spearmen. Playing heavily infantry-based army, so the Chinese... I mean, this is a bit of a concern, right? Because, like, sure, crossbows and spearmen do great against lancers, but, well, what does counter it? And I tell you what, it's these guys. Mr. Peace. Couple of those for the Chinese. That could do some significant damage. Capping the central sacred site. You can see that the Mongols really trying to get as much gold as they can off the map, whether it be sacred sites or relics. And oh, wait. Step right out, it's not there yet. Oh, hold up, villagers. They turn around. Some of them, yeah, they got the memo. Yeah, committing to double outposts. So it's incredible the amount of investment that's needed just to counteract the Barbican of the Sun that's been placed. Like, it's been a really clutch play. Like, if you start to add it all up, the movement over to this gold here, the distance, the idle time of the villagers, without wheelbarrow, they're having to invest in double outposts, which you possibly might have to anyway. The investment into 2 traction trebuchets to take this down, buying a lot of time for Crackety. And he's extending his palisades up against just to get a bit more of a bit more space, maybe for the farming transition, right? Because we're heading to sort of the 15-minute mark in the game where farming starts to become a thing. Although having said that, there's still another deer camp to be taken. Not the mark going behind the palisade walls rather. So that'll be nice to take. There's only still 1 deer left. It's been left alive to tell the tale. Trying to get inside the Barbican, it seems. Speaking of which, is actually being repaired by villagers hiding behind it. Again, buying some more time. And here comes a Mangonel. But if players trying to challenge for that sacred site, it will be the Chinese getting it in the end because of the horsemen involved. Although, yeah, it will be. As I say that though, Khan is making his way over the map. It's going to be the third traction trebuchet. I mean, it's pretty sad that it's taking 3 traction trebuchets and it's being kind of not out repaired as such, but I mean, he's keeping it on an even keel with just 4 villagers. I mean, that's worth it for sure for Crackety. Sure, it's costing him a bit of wood, but he's got 26 villagers on wood anyway. He'd be feeling comfortable. Yep, he's had enough. He's going to start charging in through with the veteran spearmen. He's going to torch it all down. Those villagers, I mean, there's no retreating for those villagers now, ultimately. They will be dead. Here come the palace guards and 2 Nesta Bees. This could be a big fight. I mean, a couple of spearmen were out of position, of course. Palace guards going to try to get on top of the crossbows. They do go on spread formation, but still, the Nesta Bees, 2 of them get so much value. Palace guards, though, they're going straight to the Nesta Bees to retreat. Need to keep them alive. Oh, massive Nesta Bee shot on those spearmen. Took out so much HP, and the palace guards will rip through the rest of that. And that was damaging for sure. Oh my god, the Nesta Bee shots on the crossbows on the back line. Now that's going to leave the 3 traction trebuchets completely exposed. Not that many palace guards remain though. The crossbow numbers done a lot of work here for Yenny Cherry. But I'll tell you what's definitely done a lot of work. It's these Nesta Bees. We talked about it in the game how critical this unit is for the Chinese. On that landmark, the astronomical clock tower. It's done a lot of work for him for sure. Nesta Bees going to start focusing. I mean, he's still splitting them up though, the crossbows, so they might get on top of the Nesta Bees. They do have that minimum attack range. Does take out 1 trebuchet at least. The 2 Nesta Bees probably will... I mean, to be fair, it's got a couple of crossbows defending them, so I'm not so sure it's such a clean fight for the Mongols. Possibly will start to overrun with a couple of spearmen being added in. But again, still good value from the Nesta Bees. Yeah, now he's entered the minimum attack range. Somewhat. Wait, he's actually going to retreat. No, he's going to save 1 at least. Palace guards and crossbows added in again for Crackety. Reinforcements are here. And the Mongols now are being pushed back quite heavily. The greater economy for Crackety is slowly been escalating, right, with that Sung Dynasty. Slowly but surely he's been gathering a lead, and that's going to pay for itself later on. I say later on, but it feels like it's already paying off. Now all of a sudden, the Mongols have to invest in Springalds, and that's what he's doing. They can build it on the ground, trading in a bit of resources to balance the economy there from the market. So bear in mind, these Nesta Bees got an additional 50% extra health on them to what they would be without the astronomical clock tower. A new Khan rises, and he's got some work ahead of him. Good shout there, Kai. Switch over to the income. Looking pretty even on both counts, except from the step route, just increased the amount of gold there quite significantly. And there is that farming transition. We're heading into the 20-minute mark, and yeah, this is what's needed. And equally so, pastures coming up for the Mongols. So we'll see a little bit more of a lull, I think, maybe the next 2-3 minutes, but then things will start to heat up again once the food starts trickling on in. Speaking of which, look at the farming transition. It's working well for Crackety. Already 1,500 food coming in. And half these farms aren't even built yet. He's working on the deer camp and the berries. That's where the most of the food's coming in from. A bit of a raid here in the north. So Crackety is aware of the situation. That could be an angle of attack. And I think he might be heading that direction right now. And the big problem is that with the Barbican of the Sun still alive and kicking, this gold vein is super important for the Mongols, although it's mostly taken already. This is not great here, because ultimately it's kind of like trade, right? You can have economy in situational areas of the map, but if it's hard to defend, it's great having the economy, but you've got to be able to defend it, and this is looking a bit tough. Not without static defenses, in terms of palisade walls at least. It's tough to get safe access to the gold, and Yeah, those villagers are going to run into problems here. And he might even use the step redoubt. There's nothing army-wise here. Oh, wait, it wasn't attack moved. Oh, he is now. He spotted it. Having said that, looks like the Mongols looking to go for the jugular vein and move further forward into the heart of the economy. Bear in mind, a lot of the economy is actually on the farms here and on the deer camp. And of course, there's a bit of a slaughter here on the villagers. Nest of bees. Oh, God, getting so much HP. The villagers are pretty fast on their feet there with the wheelbarrow. Oh, Palace Guard's got a bit confused. So maybe he will be able to retreat with a couple of these villagers in the end. The Palace Guard's chasing. Should be able to catch up. In the middle, though, he does have an nest of bees firing off. And if Krakeny can defend this position, that'll put him in a great spot. Palace Guard's charging on through. Does have a bit of a choke point. Although the crossbows are clumped up behind that lumber camp. And a nest of bees will get good shots. Although the 3 Springords about to unleash everything they've got and try and take out the nest of bees if they can. Mangonel's starting to edge forwards for the Mongols. He's move over to gold here, Krakeny, so he's got safe goldish, and Palace Guard's still chasing the village. Get us a wrap around on the right side with 2 Palace Guards to secure the retreat and denies the villagers running away completely. Doesn't really feel like he's got enough siege here, Yenicheri. He's got 1 trebuchet, but we've seen how little damage output those guys do. Villagers dwindling in numbers. The Krakeny's here. A lot of his economy is idle, by the way. 50 villagers are idle, trying to get some outposts. He's being pushed hard. A couple of rams possibly coming out soon. There's the first of maybe a few. Villagers slaughtered. Oh wait, he's coming around the back. He's going to snipe that Tractor Trebuchet. There's not much that can be done about it. Mangonel does get a couple of shots. Doesn't hit land on anything. Palace Guards with a smash and grab on that one. Nicely done. Now Krakeny, with all his economy, hasn't been able to translate it into military, or at least the military numbers aren't looking too strong. But definitely some points that could be raided. Palace Guards there cutting off some reinforcements. Oh, Mangonels! Oh god, those villagers! Jeez, he's dancing with fire there, Krakeny. He garrisoned inside just at the right time, but god, a split second later, it would have been a massacre. Crossbows are ready to pounce if those villagers do ungarrison. That's 13 villagers in there. I've just walled up the entrance to the farming transition. Gonna try and delay them out as long as possible. Yeah, Palace Guards cutting off reinforcements rather. He's backing away. Why is he backing away with his army? Oh, villagers coming out to torch down, and that's gonna be a free ram. I'm surprised. I think he's worried about the Palace Guards, maybe. I'm not so sure. Why is he retreating? That's a curious decision. Maybe he wants to find another angle of approach, another angle of attack. But he's letting up on the pressure. I think he's worried about losing his Mangonels, but there's not that much here. That's a surprising move. Oh, nest of bees on his lonesome. A big concern for the Mongols is that they're not really gathering any gold at this point. Every bit of gold that they're coming in with is just from the 3 relics he's got in his grasp. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised to see that from Yenicheri. Felt like he still had good damage output, but wasn't using the units for a while. Just wants more traction trebuchets. Adding in a couple more units, heading out across. Crossbowmen mostly. He only has 1 Springald, so he definitely has to be careful about nest of bees possibly popping out. In fact, the Chinese relying on Springalds instead. I mean, the Palace Guards with their speed of movement could gap close quite significantly, but there's still a lot of crossbows. Does feel like it's a good position for Yenicheri in many ways. Sacred Sites, 2 of them in the grasp of the Chinese. Third one there, not capped just yet. Oh, does lose a Mangonel. Springald moving forward. Does get another shot on the Springald. That was building up. That's massive pickoffs there by Krakeny here. Nice way to do it, for sure. Picked off 2 siege engines, essentially for free. It feels like the pushing is very slow. Interesting enough, something we don't see Yenicheri doing, and we used to see a lot in Age of Empires 4 with the Mongols, is getting outposts in the 4 positions. And they're getting sprinkled on placements of them. I mean, struggling on gold anyway, but still. Outpost could be a nice spot to garrison inside if it needs to. But yeah, ideally you want the sprinkled on placements. The trouble is gold, right? That's actually what Yenicheri is really hard stuck on. Especially considering he's having to make springalds and siege engines. But yeah, outpost spam on forward positions for the Mongols used to be a thing. Doesn't seem like Yenicheri is opting for that now. Heading further forward with 3 springalds. Loses 1 potentially here. No, doesn't quite lose anything. Springal's focusing on the Khan first, it seems. Oh, here comes a micro. Does lose 1. For both players, that is. Khan about to be taken down by the Springald. Oh, managed to get out of there with 5 HP. That was a close one. Imperial Academy has gone down. Springald fights again. Down to 1 Springald here for the Chinese. God, these traction trebuchets are terrible, guys. Barely doing any damage at all. Now he's got all the gold that he wants here, Crackety. And I think generally Crackety is in a good spot actually ultimately at this point because he's the only one with access to gold and Palace Guard numbers looking decent. Even against their counter unit, he might get a wrap around, and if you can get on top of the crossbows and start chopping away at them, there's not much of a meat shield, right? He's going to go for the siege engines first, he's going to go for the traction trebuchets and then work his way through. If we can take out the mangonels, that'd be massive. This is a big push out by Crackety. Doesn't necessarily have the huge military numbers, but he's going to lose a lot of the Palace Guards. Tries to take as many of the siege units as possible. Does get another traction trebuchet and should get another mangonel too. Oh, doesn't quite manage it in the end. Managed to hold on to it, although there is a springald involved, so it could snipe out the weak one. Does exactly that. Mongols, they're pushing on in with a lot of military units. But Crackety, if he can hold on and get numbers up again of army, he'll be okay, but he's really struggling actually. 23 military versus 66. Yenicheri pushing on hard. He needs some Nesta Bees for sure. And crossbows. Plenty of food and wood though coming in for Yenicheri, gotta say. Crossbow numbers though looking very healthy. Is he back in gold? He is actually back in gold. The Steppe Redoubt playing wonders for the Mongols. An extra 50% coming in, of course, with that. $60 military versus 22. Yenicheri is still finding it really difficult to push on in. I think maybe Rams could be a play, right? He's got siege engineering. It makes a lot of sense. He's got plenty of wood floating. He's opting for the trebuchets instead, and maybe that's what's catching him stuck. Two springalds rather, 1 Nesta Bees. Still losing siege engines. Yenicheri being pushed back once again. Crackety, whilst being relatively equal in terms of economy at this point. Mongols aren't able to push any further. It just feels like raw firepower not there for them. These villagers are clutch. If Crackety can spot this and get on top of this, that could be a big game changer. That's pretty much the primary source of gold, and it's not the most secure source of gold either. Oh, more villagers heading on out. And I think this makes a lot of sense, right? Take it while you can. Capturing the sacred site right under the nose of the Mongolian army. They're both kind of queuing up a lot of units to try and take one more big fight, and Yenicheri at full population capacity, so it should just go on ahead and start firing away because he's missing out on opportunity here. Although a good number of Nesta Bees. It's always scary when you see this unit here for the Chinese. Things can change in a blink of an eye. And this is what we talked about earlier. Going on to this gold. Crackety spotted it and he's recognised that this is the win condition. Pushed the Mongols off of gold. They can't produce any heavily armoured units or quality units in terms of crossbows as well. Or even siege for that matter. That's a lot of springals though for the Mongols. Crackety backing away for now. Not wanting to take that fight, understandably so. Crossbows heading forward. Does snipe out one Nesta Bees. Snipes out another siege engine. Just on the south of that stable. Slowly start to push on in. Outpost there for the Chinese, give them the extra vision. Oh wait, a bit of a sniping of the palace guards on the wood line. Got a couple of kills there, it seems. Continues to raid, and yeah, now that is off of gold completely in terms of mining. The Mongols are going to struggle to actually maintain this push. It's a good push for now. It's about Crackety trying to defend this. If it defends it successfully, it should be in a good spot. The Nesta B is not in range just yet. They are about to be though. Hello, Nesta Bees. There we go. Spearmen charging on in. Up against the Palace Guards though. I mean, the Spearmen will tank a little bit, but not up against the Nesta Bees. A good number of crossbows for Yenicheri, but I mean, if the Palace Guards get too close and the Nesta Bees get behind them, could be problematic. Mangonels deploy. Doesn't actually land too much of a hit on that. He's having to back away. The gap closing from the speed of the Palace Guards is looking really good. Palace Guards on the woodline. Oh no, Yenicheri, he's not spotting it, and he's going to lose a lot of villagers there in a blink of an eye. Oh my god. That's massive. Massive eco damage sustained, and it's going to ride on in with the Palace Guards. It's going to raid heavily. Wait, the big thing as well for the Mongols is a lot of the food economy. Well, half of it's idled anyway, but it's always in one spot, right? They have a really condensed economy in one spot. And wait, what's going on? Villagers coming out. Is he going all in? They're going to try and snipe the... What are these villagers up to? Okay. Well, this is interesting. Nesta Bees, he's firing off of the crossbows. The crossbow numbers aren't looking too great now, but a couple of villagers are there. They're fighting. They're fighting across as well. I mean, wait, is this all in? It's just going... Okay. All right. This is a thing. And there it is, then, gentlemen. Crackety was able to hold on. The Mongols tried with the traction trebuchet. Let's just say they weren't getting too much traction. Hope you guys enjoyed this castle game. If you're watching on YouTube, give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.